Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, peace and blessings be upon His Messenger. Sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, my name is Hazem Bata. I am the Secretary General of the Islamic Society of North America, and it is my honor and my pleasure to welcome you all here today to the 52nd Annual ISNA Convention here in the Windy City of Chicago. I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your day to come and attend the convention. As usual, we're going to start our event with a recitation from the Holy Qur'an. Our Qari today is Qari Khurshid, who is a world-renowned Qari, and we're very lucky to have him here today. Brother Khurshid, thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص بما أوحينا إليك هذا القرآن وإن كنت من قبله لمن الغافلين. إذ قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت أحد عشر كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين. والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين. صدق الله العظيم.
Next, we will have the flag ceremony by the Boy Scouts of America, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Color guard, attention. Audience, please rise. Color guard, forward march. Salute. Those not in a uniform, please place your right hand over your heart. Color guard, halt. Color guard, cross the colors. Color Guard, proudly post the flag of the United States of America. Color Guard, proudly post the flag of the great state of Illinois. Color Guard, honor your colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Color Guard, Scout sign. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2. Color Guard, return to ranks. Color Guard, forward march. Color Guard, halt. Audience, you may be seated. Color Guard dismissed.
Thank you, Boy Scouts of America. If only I could get the audience to do exactly what I said, just like the Boy Scouts. And that Boy Scout oath, that was fantastic. That's something every single one of us could do verbatim. My next speaker really needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. He's the president of the Islamic Society of North America. He was the president of ISNA for 4 years under Imam Majid. He was currently the director at Islamic Relief USA. He's been a long-time activist. He's dedicated so much of his time to the Muslim community. He's based out of Dallas, Texas, and someone who I have come to personally admire tremendously, Brother Azhar Azeez.
الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين إمام المتقين خائد الغر المحجلين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه الطيبين الطاهرين. My dear brothers and sisters and my dear friends, I welcome you once again on behalf of Islamic Society of North America to this wonderful convention. I want to begin by thanking all our esteemed guests, all the attendees who are present over here. I also want to thank the Council of Islamic Organizations of Greater Chicago, for their support and for their partnership. ISNA and CIOGC has a very long history and they have worked together for many years. And it is great to be back in this beautiful city of Chicago. It's great to, again, work with the wonderful team of CIOGC. Also, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the steering committee and the two co-chairs, Mira Ali and Asra Ali, for their leadership. We have more than 300 volunteers who are working tirelessly to make sure that this convention will be an amazing experience for all our attendees. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank them. I would like to thank our wonderful staff under the leadership of our Secretary General, Hazem Bata. And people don't realize all along the year, these individuals work very tirelessly to make sure that ISNA continues with the services that it offers to the Muslim community. I'm very honored to see many guests. We have His Excellency, the Ambassador of Turkey, special delegation from Nigeria, who has honored us with their presence. We have friends from the Interfaith community. We have friends from the government, different agencies and administration of the government. So I'm very honored to welcome all of them to this beautiful convention. As the theme of the convention reminds us, the stories of resilience, strengthening the American Muslim narrative. I want to, in particular, thank the program committee who spent for months and weeks to prepare this program. And I'm very optimistic that, inshallah, when you leave this convention, you have a lot to take home with you. and I truly want to applaud their hard work and their efforts. My dear brothers and sisters, I sincerely pray and I hope that the next 3 or 4 days will be days of learning, will be days of fellowship, where we will be able to meet each other, network with each other, listen to prominent scholars, so that we can lift ourselves spiritually. We have prominent experts who has expertise in different fields, prominent scholars who will enlighten us with their talks. So I want to appeal to you to follow the program very closely and enjoy the convention. This convention has something for each and every individual, from art exhibit to film festival to health fair to meet the author program, an amazing bazaar with more than 550 booths, community service recognition luncheon, interfaith banquet. So there are so many components that are associated with this convention. Sometimes people don't realize what it takes. As soon as the convention ends, many of our colleagues, they start working for the following year. And it takes lots and lots of their volunteer time. So I want to, in particular, thank all these wonderful group of brothers and sisters. I will do a great disservice if I don't recognize my own team. I'm very honored to work at the Majlis, at the board of ISNA, where I'm very blessed to seek the guidance and support of many prominent scholars and leaders. In particular, I would like to thank my 2 vice presidents, Dr. Altaf Hussain and Brother Parvez Naseem, who has always been there to give their important input and advice. And of course, we benefit tremendously and we benefit from the wisdom of our Majlis members and the Executive Council members. My brothers and sisters, ISNA is a very important organization. This is an organization that has been representing you, serving you for over 52 years. I always say this, that no matter what you do, ISNA is always there for you. I want to ask each one of you to strengthen the hands of ISNA by becoming a member of ISNA, by giving your valuable input, by giving your valuable time, by volunteering with different projects that ISNA undertakes. ISNA is your organization, so I would like to take this opportunity to appeal to each one of you that please come forward, become a member of ISNA, support ISNA, and do whatever you can to guide ISNA so that it can continue to serve for next 50 years, 100 years, or more. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us in the Holy Qur'an where He says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Verily, Allah will not change the condition of people as long as they do not change their state themselves. This is something that we have to remind ourselves each and every day. We put our trust in God Almighty. That is the first and foremost thing that we do. And once we put the trust, we basically strive every single day to serve our community, to serve our nation, to serve the society at large. Once somebody asked Imam Hassan, the grandson of the Prophet Mohammed, peace be upon him, the person asked him for advice. So he said 2 things: do what you do best and do what people need the most. And this is what ISNA strives to do every single day. So I pray that you have an amazing experience in the next 3 or 4 days and you benefit tremendously with this convention, and you have a lot to take home so that you can go back to their respective cities and continue to serve your local community and local society at large. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless each one of you. Jazakallah khair. It's truly an honor to stand in front of you and represent this wonderful organization called as Islamic Society of North America. Wa jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum.
Every year, ISNA hosts a convention, but it would not be correct to say that it was only ISNA's convention. ISNA organizes these conventions in cooperation with many, many other people, including local volunteers and staff and local organizations. This year, we're very fortunate to be hosted by the CIOGC, Council of Islamic Organizations of Greater Chicago. This is an organization that represents over 60 masajid and Muslim organizations in the Greater Chicago area. It is one of the best-run councils, Muslim councils in America, and we're very fortunate to have their chairman here today, who is also the host of the convention, Dr. Mohammed Kaiseruddin. He's the co-founder of the CIOGC. He's the vice chairman of the Downtown Islamic Center. He's also a PhD in nuclear engineering and is a manager at a consulting engineering company. Dr. Kaiser, please come on up.
Thank you very much, Brother Bata, for that generous introduction. It's a truly an honor for me to stand in front of you and have an opportunity to welcome you all to the beautiful city of Chicago on behalf of the Council of Islamic Organizations of Greater Chicago. It is, Brother Bata has already mentioned about the scope of the council, so I will not take time to tell you about it. But I want to tell you that it was not just the council, it was not the official staff or members of the council who did most of the work. So I want to recognize the independent volunteers from the city of Chicago who came forward and did amazing job that you will witness in the next 3 or 4 days. The co-chairs of the steering committee, Brother Bir Khan and Sister Asra Ali, and the large team that they managed are bringing this to you. We at the Council of Islamic Organizations did whatever we could, and we are very glad to do it for you, welcome you. So I want to tell you that this month of September is a month where Muslims will be doing a lot of traveling, a huge amount of traveling this month. And their traveling that is happening is of 3 different natures. I want to bring that to your attention. One is the people from all over the world will be traveling to Mecca to perform Hajj. And second is the people from all over the United States traveling to Chicago to attend the convention. Alhamdulillah. I'll talk a little bit more about the parallel between the two. The third travel that is happening, which is indeed, it's something that is affecting our conscience, shaking our conscience as to how this could be happening. That is the travel of refugees from Syria and from other Middle Eastern countries fleeing their homeland to protect themselves and their lives. And they board the ships or boats that they cannot hold them, and a lot of them drown. As you have heard, the body of a 2-year-old boy washed ashore the shores of Turkey. I think the body could have been lost, but I think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really wanted to bring that tragedy in front of all the world, that this is what is happening, and what are you going to do about it? And the presence of the ambassador from Turkey and the Consul General of Turkey, I want to acknowledge, everybody acknowledge the great role Turkey is playing in hosting the refugees, the thousands, hundreds of thousands that are going over there. Yes. So the Turkey has set an example of hospitality and caring for the people over there, and hope other countries will also do the same. And so the refugees are really struggling to get into several European countries. We hope that our government allows more of the refugees to come over here, and we hope that we ourselves find a place in our heart and to welcome them and make it possible for them to resettle here in the United States. So a little bit about the comparison between the Hajj and ISNA Convention, because you came here, and I want you to feel good as to how many rewards you will get. So Hajj gives a lot of rewards, right? I mean, tremendous rewards. You all know that. I do not want to repeat it. But what happens at Hajj? Some of the things are happening here. So you should feel good that at least part of the rewards are going to be yours. At Hajj, people from all over the world, different nationalities, different cultural backgrounds, different languages, all assemble. At ISNA Convention, you will see people from different nationalities, different languages, different cultures will assemble here in large numbers. At Hajj, they're all focused towards worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And at ISNA Convention, we will not be as much focused, but we will all be listening to the scholarly speeches of ulama and scholars teaching us about Islam. And this is an opportunity for you to learn. And Hajj happens on a particular time of the day of the year, 9th of Zulhijjah. ISNA convention also happens at the Labor Day weekend. So there's again a similarity between this and that. Hajj happens in Mecca and Arafat. And we can hope that Chicago becomes the permanent home of the ISNA convention. So that similarity will also happen over here. All people in favor of that, please. So there are these similarities that do exist. I'm not going to say that we don't have a Kaaba here, we don't have Jamarat here, we don't have Sa'i over here, we don't have any of those things. So some of those rewards, you have to actually go for Hajj to get those rewards. But part of those rewards you can get by coming to the ISNA convention. I welcome you all. I hope that you find Chicago a very hospitable town, and you will enjoy, if you get any time away from the convention, that you will enjoy the city a little bit. And most of all, we hope that you enjoy your time at the convention and learn and go back with a renewed sense of brotherhood and sisterhood. Jazakallah khair.
Dr. Kaiseruddin, I just want to point out he's a PhD in nuclear engineering. His name is Mohammed. He has a beard, and he was born overseas. Dr. Kaiser, you are probably on every government watch list. You just don't know about it. Our next speaker is Dr. Roy Medley. He's the Secretary General of the American Baptist Church. It's nice to have another Secretary General in the room. That is a church with over 1 million congregants and 5,200 congregations. He's also the chairman of the National Council of Churches USA, and he is a leader in global interfaith. I was told an amazing story about him. There was a group of Muslims in the country of Georgia, not the state of Georgia here in the US, but the country of Georgia next to Russia, who had been trying to build a masjid for many decades, and they were denied permission. Dr. Medley found out about this. He went and he spoke to the governor of that governorate, and he actually convinced them to allow the Muslims to build a masjid. MashaAllah, this is an American Christian who is helping Muslims in Georgia. He's also been to Burma, and he's a strong supporter of rights for the Rohingya Muslims, and he's participated in several peace-building efforts globally and in the Middle East, and it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Dr. Roy Medley. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr.
Salam alaikum. And as we greet one another in the Christian tradition, grace and peace with you as well. It is wonderful to be here with you, with your General Secretary. I'm glad there are others who understand that title. Yes, in the life of the church, people go, what is a General Secretary? But here in the Muslim community, you know that role. And so it is wonderful to be with you, to be here with President Aziz, my dear friend, Dr. Saeed, who we have traveled together around the world for the sake of peace, as well as here in the United States, and it's always a delight. He has been with us in our convention several times, and it's always an honor to be in his presence and to be here with you, dear friends. It is an honor to be invited to address you on behalf of the National Council of Churches. And I would say that my immediate predecessor as president of the National Council, Ms. Catherine Laurie, is here as well. Catherine, would you please stand that we might acknowledge you as well? I do bring you greetings on behalf of the Christian churches that are members of the National Council of Churches of Christ in the United States, and I pledge to you our continued efforts for world peace and for the end of prejudice based upon faith. The National Council of Churches of Christ deeply values its partnership with ISNA, with the Muslim community at large, as founding members of Shoulder to Shoulder. We're fully committed to the principles of religious liberty and the free exercise of religion that are embodied in our nation's Bill of Rights. And we pledge continuing vigilance and action against discrimination directed towards the Muslim community in America. As followers of Jesus Christ, we are committed to peace with justice for all peoples in accordance with the teachings of Jesus and our Holy Scriptures, believing that God's love has been poured out upon all people. We express that commitment not only through shoulder to shoulder, but also through our support of dialogue among the Abrahamic faiths. In a world marked by religious extremism and violence, the partnership the National Council of Churches has with ISNA in promoting peace, mutual respect, and religious liberty represents a critical rebuttal to those who believe that faith divides rather than unites, to those who believe that faith fosters violence, not peace, and to those who believe that faith undermines the unity of humankind rather than binding us together in a common society where all thrive and flourish as beloved children of God. We who are committed to faith cannot allow those who foster hate and violence in the name of God to be the voices and faces of faith in the world. If we, as people of faith within the Abrahamic tent, believe, as the Quran teaches, that God is most merciful and compassionate, if we believe, as the Torah and the prophets teach, that God is slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love, and if we believe, as the Christian scriptures teach, that God is love, if we believe that this is who God is, then we must give ourselves fully to grace, love, mercy, compassion, and forgiveness, or we find ourselves failing to submit to God. On behalf of the Church of Jesus Christ, I thank you as ISNA for the voice you have been against the violence the churches and Christians in the Middle East and North Africa are enduring at the hands of extremists. And we pledge, as Christians, to continue to be a voice for the merciful and respectful treatment of Muslims against any and all acts of hate towards the Muslim community, whether that be in Burma, the Middle East, Palestine, Europe, or the United States. Let us together then commit that our striving shall be for peace with justice for all. May God's grace and peace rest upon you. Amen. Thank you.
Dr. Medley, I just want to thank you for all that you've done, and I hope to be as prolific of a Secretary General for ISNA as you have been for the American Baptist Church. My next guest is the ambassador from Turkey, Brother Serdar Kilic. He has asked me to keep the introduction to a very, very minimum, and who am I to say no to an ambassador? So without any further ado, Ambassador Kilic from Turkey.
Mr. Azhar Azeez, Mr. Mohammed Kaiseruddin, our dear Secretary General.
Thank you.
I know what it means, I have been there once. And Dr. Said, dear friend, and Imam Majid, I have seen a number of friends that I had the opportunity and privilege to meet before and exchange views with regard to this important subject. Actually, I have prepared a speaking note for myself to share my views with you with regard to interfaith dialogue and the importance of interfaith dialogue, actually. And I can assure you that in that regard, Turkey can be seen as a living example of interfaith dialogue and peaceful coexistence of people of different faiths. But this morning I received a message from someone, I believe, that has a dear place in your hearts, and instead of delivering my speech, I would like to go directly into the message that was sent by the President of the Republic of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. I greet you all with the most beautiful of all greetings. I hope and pray that the 52nd Annual Convention of the Islamic Society of North America in Rosemont, Illinois, will advance the cause of peace, friendship, and compassion for all. I congratulate the ISNA, its chapters, and those who took part in the organization of this auspicious event. This important convention is a testimony to the fact that the American Muslims are working hard to keep the universal principles of Islam and the messages of love and peace of our Prophet, peace be upon him, alive. In a world of deepening injustice, insecurity, and materialism, the enduring values of Islam are relevant more than ever for a more just, peaceful, and compassionate future. American Muslims have a historic role to play in the fight against distortion of Islam on the one hand and the growing threat of Islamophobia on the other. Use of violence in the name of Islam by such terrorist groups as ISIS or Daesh is a gross violation of our religion and has been condemned by all Muslims. But we must do more to contain and stop radical and violent extremism that harms Muslims themselves in the first place. The spread of Islamophobia is equally troubling as it creates mental and physical walls of separation between Muslims and their non-Muslim neighbors. More insidiously, Islamophobia in the US and Europe plays into the hands of those who seek to turn Muslims into scapegoats and instigate a clash of civilizations. Violent extremism and Islamophobia feed each other off. Muslims become victims twice. First, when violent extremists violate the fundamental principles of Islam, and second, when Islamophobes attack Muslims for the illicit, inhumane, and un-Islamic acts of extremism. Let's remember that Muslims themselves have suffered a lot at the hands of these violent extremists and Islamophobes more than any other group. Islamophobia is a form of racism, and just like anti-Semitism, it's a crime against humanity. It must be rejected by all conscientious people, regardless of their religion, country, or political view. Just as we cannot blame Judaism or Christianity for the violent acts of fringe groups within these traditions, we cannot blame Islam for the inhumane actions of those claiming to act in the name of Islam. Our world is going through a turbulent period. The global order fails to bring peace, security, and prosperity. Hundreds of millions of people around the world suffer from wars, violence, poverty, and epidemics. The international community has failed to stop the bloody war in Syria over the last 4 years. The images of the bodies of innocent Syrian children washed away in the Mediterranean must be a wake-up call for all the world to address the root causes of this problem. What drowned in the Mediterranean this week was not just a little boy called Aylan, his brother and mother from Syria. More devastatingly, it was our humanity that drowned in the hands of the leader Bashar Assad, and that should be given an end. We cannot claim to be modern and humane while these atrocities continue before the eyes of the world. It's a shame that the developed countries of the world, instead of taking immediate action, are still discussing what to do with the refugee crisis that has now reached the shores of Europe. In Turkey, we have been hosting 2 million refugees from Syria and Iraq for the past 3 years. We will continue our open door policy for those in need, regardless of their religion, ethnicity, or sect. I believe that it is our political and moral responsibility in that regard. Our Syrian and Iraqi brothers and sisters are the Muhajirun, and we are the Ansar. And it is our duty to help them just as we help the Muslims helped during the beloved Prophet, and he taught us 14 centuries ago. Before concluding, I would like to emphasize that strengthening your ties with the Turkish community in the US and having close contacts with the Turkish-American associations will be mutually beneficial for Muslim organizations and Turks living in the country. Needless to say, Turkey is your second home and always ready to welcome you. On the occasion of the convention, I would like to extend my best wishes and feelings of brotherhood to all Muslims in the United States. Inshallah, this year ISNA's conference under the theme Stories of Resilience Strengthening the American Muslim Narrative will be a successful one with its special events and activities. May Allah reward you for your good deeds and make this timely convention a major success. Esselamu Aleyküm. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, President of the Republic of Turkey. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Our next speaker is Sir Ratib Rabi. He is the president of the Holy Land Christian Ecumenical Foundation. This is an organization that collects donations from Christians in America and provides assistance to Christians living in Muslim-majority countries. What's very interesting, though, is that the organization also provides assistance to Muslims living in Muslim-majority countries. Our President Azhar Azeez and Dr. Said visited Mr. Rabi's office in the West Bank in Palestine, and they were delighted to see Muslims and Christians working side by side together for the benefit of all in that area, which was wonderful. With the assistance of Brother Rabi, we've established a Muslim-Christian coalition to promote the welfare of Christians who are under attack in the Middle East. We're very happy to have him here today, Sir Ratib Rabi.
Assalamu alaikum. As you can see that I speak Arabic and I studied Quran too, and I know a little bit about you guys. I am a man with a mission. As the Palestinians been suffering for over 67 years, and the Christians are departing the Holy Land, where we left with 200 Palestinian Christians, where we have 500,000 in Chile. We've been struggling about how we can have that existence. We are Muslim, Christian, and Jews. We are sons of God. I'm not a clergy to preach. I'm a man with a mission, I said. Thought that we have to do something about working together. As our brothers and sisters are suffering regardless of their faith. And since September 11, called on us to talk about the stereotype about Muslims, because a lot of churches came to us in order to understand what has happened to the Christians here by Muslims. We explained to them that we are Christians, we are Palestinian Arab Christians, raised in Islamic society. We understand Islam, and we know what is Islam. Is when I lived 5 years of my life in college with a Muslim, and understand who are the Islam. But the Islam is not the Islamist who hijacked that religion. I'm not talking here just to make you happy or to say something good, because I lived that. And this is where, when things happen in Syria and Iraq, where we have the Christians been discriminated and they've been suffering, they called on us to help them, because we are experienced in suffering. And that's where we got together with Dr. Said, with Imam Majid, and many other organizations, and we created the Muslim-Christian Coalition, to work together. And the first thing we talked, we are not in dialogue, because dialogue does mean we have a problem. We don't have a problem to dialogue about. We have to put our faith into action. And we started doing that. And the idea is how we can work together as a human being, as people to people. Like I said, shoulder to shoulder, yes, but we need to put our faith into action to change that. You are, as minority in the United States, you are discriminated, you are suffering. We are, as Christians in the Middle East, in the Arab countries, we are discriminated and suffering. That means we need your help in the Middle East, as you need our help. As Reverend Medley said, you know, we have to work with you and you work with us in order to help each other, because we need each other against evil. I have a few minutes. They told me to speak, and this is the only thing I can say. Just God bless you all, and I hope that you are like what Dr. Aziz said, that you have appealed to you to join ISNA, and I'm joining ISNA already, being in that coalition, and I don't know what's your criteria about having Christian member of ISNA, but you know, okay, thank you.
I can emphatically say on behalf of ISNA that we would be honored to have you as a member, Sir Rabi. Our next speaker is Bishop Wayne Miller. He's a Chicago native, and his church is the Metropolitan Chicago Synod, which is a Lutheran church. He's a member of the Bishop's Task Force on Immigration Reform. He's the chair of the Committee on Ministry Among People in Poverty. He's a founding board member of the Suicide Prevention Services of Fox Valley, and he's a member and presenter for a special judicial commission on domestic violence in the faith community. This is someone who is among the people and serves the people, and we're very honored to have him here today, Bishop Wayne Miller.
Salam alaikum.
Vice President of the Council of Religious Leaders of Metropolitan Chicago. So I get to add my voice to that of my good friend and colleague, Dr. Mohammed, in welcoming you to our city as well. But today specifically, I bring you warm greetings from Bishop Elizabeth Eaton, the presiding bishop of our denomination, who regrets that she is unable to be with you this year because of travel commitments today, I believe, in Madagascar. But I am deeply honored by the invitation to be here with you this weekend on her behalf. I'm quite sure that it is not a surprise to any of us to hear that we work and live in perilous times. Every day, our senses are bombarded with stories from all around the world, stories of misunderstanding, stories of distrust, stories of ignorance, and worse yet, sometimes proud and defiant ignorance about all those who we perceive to be the other. All of which contributes to a climate of violence and chaos that quite genuinely threatens the future of anything that we can call human civilization. Of course, the problems of misunderstanding, distrust, and violence are not exactly new to the human condition. It seems that they are with us always. What is different, however, is that human migration, both in the form of voluntary relocation to pursue economic opportunity and in the form of cruel and oppressive involuntary geographic displacement. Human migration has given an imminence and an urgency to our need to address these problems. The other, who we used to look at from a comfortable distance across the world, is now the family we greet with warm smiles or with harsh grumbles. Across the fence, we see the other across the fence that surrounds our own backyards. Regardless of our respective belief systems or ideologies, the simple fact is that we have been placed in spatial community with people who in a former generation we might only have regarded as alien. But God be praised. God be praised that all of our various faith traditions also provide us with both the encouragement and the resources to close the alienating gap through the simple but profound daily activities of welcoming the stranger and sharing deep and honest conversation. Conversations that over time open understanding, build trust, substitute awareness and compassion for ignorance, and ultimately replace violence with a deep and abiding peace. Yet none of this transformation happens by itself. It requires perseverance, patience, intentionality, and effort by people of faith and people of goodwill. So it is a matter of no small significance that for more than 10 years, the ELCA and the Islamic Societies of North America have been engaged in conversation and in building those trust relationships. It is a matter of very great significance indeed that Muslims everywhere continue to stand in solidarity with us against the persecution of Christians around the world, just as we stand in solidarity with you against the persecution and hate crimes against Muslims everywhere in the world. What remains, however, is for this same spirit of welcome and intentionality to find its way more deeply and more broadly into our local communities, into our neighborhoods, and across those backyard fences. For in this, sisters and brothers, there is hope. Thank you.
My next guest is the ISNA Vice President, Dr. Altaf Hussein. He's been with ISNA for many, many years now, serving on the Majlis, which is our board. He came up through the MSA. He's been a long time involved with the MSA. He was one of our early interns at ISNA and worked his way up, and he is currently a professor at Howard University in Washington, D.C. Without any further ado, Dr. Altaf Hussein.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto all of you. The co-chair means that there must be a chair of the program committee, and that's Sister Fatima Salman, who is en route from Michigan driving into Chicago. So we wish her safe travels, and so that's why the co-chair fills in when the chair is not there. The theme of the conference this year is Stories of Resilience, Strengthening the American Muslim Narrative. And this particular theme came about as a result of a program committee deliberating on the state of the Muslims in the US particularly. And one thing we found was that despite all of the tragedies around the world and within the US facing the Muslim community in the form of intense and systematic anti-Islamic bigotry, we found amazing stories of people rising to the level and rising to the occasion and befriending, if you will, all of those who turned to them with hate. And we thought, what better way to recognize these individuals, their communities, than to have an entire convention dedicated to highlighting stories of resilience. So throughout the weekend, you will see at least 3 or 4 things. Number one, you will see some of the people who have been in the news actually appearing at the ISNA convention. You will see, for example, the sister of Diyah Barakat, who was murdered in North Carolina. Dr. Susan Barakat will be in the 5:30 session called the Newsmaker session. She was not only the face of resilience, including her parents and the family of Raza and Yusar as well, but she's a medical doctor, and she held her own. We thought it was time that she appeared with the Muslim community so that we could appreciate indeed what their family has been through and show them our gratitude for demonstrating resilience in the face of the most horrific crime. Second, you will see an Egyptian American who was released from 2 years of imprisonment in a very by a brutal regime, Mohammed Sultan. He was freed just a few months ago. He will appear in that session. You will see Dr. Alia Ammar address the very imminent issue, current issue of police brutality and how it's impacting the African American community at large, but particularly people of color, in terms of not only the interaction with law enforcement, but the utter, lack of, if you will, civil rights afforded to them during any process of that arrest and, if you will, even interrogation. The last thing is that on that panel, the last person on that panel you'll see is Linda Sarsour, who has become the voice, if you will, of young America, a Palestinian American of heritage, who is mobilizing in another campaign on social media through Twitter many of these efforts to show resilience. So that's the newsmaker session. Why was that important? It was to us. And Dr. Yasser Qadi, who will be on that panel. Why was that important? Just that one session, just to go into a little detail about that, is that these are the people who the Muslim community sees on the news, but it's often very, very manufactured sound bites, taken out of context, and they barely ever get to utter what they would like to say, and this panel, inshallah, God willing, will give them that opportunity. In addition, we have throughout the weekend others who have demonstrated not just this year, but throughout these last few years, the face of resilience by rising to the occasion again to protest injustices in America and around the world. You will meet the Nobel Peace Prize winner, Tawakkol Karman, who at a very young age of Yemeni descent showed that not only were women not oppressed by their faith or the teachings of that religion, but indeed they could rise above all of what human and male insecurities may have put upon them, and to say that my religion frees me and I'm able to stand for and become the face of peace, not only in Yemen and around the world. Along with her, as the President mentioned, you will meet the daughter of Malcolm X, Ilyasa Shabazz, and her story is her own. She's not coming here to talk about the legacy of her father. She's talking about what she has done as a formidable force in the face of all of the, if you will, injustices that continue to prevail within the African American community. And again, the last thing is that you will see segments of the program that are dedicated to not only Muslim students on the college campuses happening in the Hyatt Hotel, but also the Muslim youth of North America, particularly teenagers between 13 and 18. In the bazaar, if you can stop by the bazaar, which I'm sure all of you will do, we prefer you do it after our fundraising sessions, so that you have more money to give us and don't say that you've already spent it in the bazaar. But in the bazaar, you'll find for the first time an American Muslim lifestyles demonstration, if you will, on various types of things that are going on within the Muslim community. I call it a combination of the Food Network meets HGTV. So both of them together, hopefully you'll get a chance to see that. And of course, we have basketball tournaments for the sisters and the brothers as well. And for the first time, the legendary and the great Sami Yusuf will perform in the entertainment on Sunday night. So we invite you to join us throughout the weekend. And if you know of people who haven't yet arrived and are on their way, really make a buzz on social media through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever you do. The scholars are here. If you have some questions about using social media, we'll help you get it straight. Thank you again for coming. Enjoy the program.
My next guest is Brother Azhar Azeez, who has a special message, for the audience.
Assalamu alaikum. So we just received a letter from the Office of the Mayor of City of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, and I would just like to read his letter. Dear friends, as mayor and on behalf of the City of Chicago, it's my pleasure to extend my warmest greetings to everyone gathered for the 52nd Annual Islamic Society of North America Annual Conference. I'm grateful that this event will provide an opportunity for people of the Muslim religion to gather together in Rosemont, just outside our great city. I'm proud that this conference, the largest gathering of Muslims in North America, will bring so many new people to Chicago. I know the theme of the convention honors the unsung heroes of Islam. I thank each of the Muslim community of Chicago for the contributions made to the economic, cultural, and civic life of our city, including the famous Muslim architect Fazlur Rahman Khan, who designed two of Chicago's most important skyscrapers, the Willis Tower and the John Hancock Building. This year, Chicago will host its first architectural biennial where these two buildings will be on the display for the world. Each year, the ISNA Convention reminds us that the Muslim community is one of the incredibly diversity and an example of understanding and respect among faiths. Thank you for the contributions you make to Chicago and for voicing your concerns of the issues you care most about. I send my best wishes for a wonderful event and much success and prosperity in your future endeavors. Sincerely, Ram Emanuel, the Mayor of the City of Chicago.
ISNA is very fortunate in that it enjoys great relationships with government officials at every level. Our next guest is the advisor to Deputy National Security Advisor for Strategic Communications, Sister Rumana Ahmed. She works in the White House, and she has been an instrumental liaison between the White House and the Muslim community. She's a tremendous asset to all of us, and she's becoming a very good personal friend of mine, Sister Rumana Ahmed. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I want to start off with for thanking ISNA for having me. It's truly an honor. And it's really hard to speak after so many inspiring speakers who are leading change around the world. Given the theme of resilience, and I'm going to kind of add now to that weight that they all just put upon you, the responsibility of helping those in need around the world. The additional one that I want to put on you given the experience that I've had at the White House, is domestically, here at home. In addition to the stories of resilience that you'll be hearing throughout this weekend, many are ones that we've actually been able to bring to the White House and been able to recognize. Earlier this year, we recognized a young woman you'll be hearing from, Fatima Knight, who's also going to be in the panel that Brother Altaf mentioned. When the churches were getting targeted, and many of them were getting burned, some of them from accidents, but some of them unknown causes, she actually led the initiative to raise money, over $100,000 to support those churches, and she got other Muslims to follow to help with that as well. The one thing that I do want to talk about, in my current position in the National Security Council, a lot of what we work on are those international stories, what's happening to the Rohingya, what's happening in Syria. However, I do want to kind of touch on the experience and what I learned about other communities and the Muslim American community at the domestic level. I want to be able to talk about the organizations who have been actually the creators of some of those stories, those powerful stories of resilience. Some of them are individuals, but some of them are also organizations. Some of those organizations are right here in Chicago, actually. And on that front, I want to talk about engagement and the importance of engagement. Many of us in this room ask ourselves, what can we do? We just heard about all these horrendous stories of what's happening around the world. Every day we're hearing about Muslim Americans going through a lot of struggles here in the US. What can we do? So the piece that I want to focus on is engagement. It's really important for us. It starts from the family. It starts with individuals. It starts from the community. It starts among different organizations, building coalitions and partnerships across communities, within communities, and with government as well. Now, I know that there's many of you here who have asked yourself, how do you even engage government? It's so difficult. It's so frustrating. The fact of the matter is, building those partnerships, as well as building resilience as a community over time, it requires patience, it requires persistence, it requires sharing your story. And those are going to be themes that you'll be hearing throughout this entire weekend. Organizations here based in Chicago, such as Iman, who has been working on reentry and have been having major impacts, they have been creating some of those incredible stories of people who went through challenges, who were in underserved communities, came out of jail but are being able to go back into society and make major impacts around them within their community and across the US. They've been helping with job training, helping around climate change and healthcare services. Another organization that I want to be able to highlight is American Muslim Health Professionals. The White House got to partner with them on healthcare enrollment. ISNA, of course, we've also been working with, not only on issues on the Central African Republic, and Imam Majid and others are here who have been working on that, but also on issues here in the US as well. Brother Hazem and I met earlier and we talked about the great work that ISNA is trying to lead now in terms of how to fight climate change. Climate change is very much in line with what Islam teaches us of protecting our environment around us. So the major theme that I do want to kind of touch on, and I'll try to be short because I know we've had a lot of speakers, but understand that resilience requires patience. And that, I think, in my personal experience, is something that I want to share because I'll be honest in taking off my White House hat here and as a Muslim American to say that it's something that we each of us need to improve on here in this room, starting in our community. That requires within even our own families. That requires never giving up no matter the challenges that you face. I hear a lot of young people ask me, how many times am I supposed to explain that I'm not ISIL and that I don't support ISIL? You look at the story of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and he was stoned going up Ta'if. He was harassed constantly, but he still had patience and kept doing it over and over again. So the whole point of patience and being persistent and trying over and over, I understand sometimes it's hard building coalitions within your own community because there's so many differences. I know that it can be difficult to build coalitions outside of your faith groups with progressive groups, but the point is to come together on the things that you do agree on, because to be able to get, you have to give. You have to give people and stand up for them when they're being targeted if you want them to also stand up for you when you're being targeted, and that's the theme that we heard earlier today. So really with that, again, you'll be hearing this theme, and the last point that I'll also make in all of this is do take a look at a lot of the stories that you'll be hearing that are of women and youth. Those are two groups, in my opinion, maybe I'm a little biased on this, that within every community needs more empowerment. We need to hear their stories, we need to learn from their stories, and look for those individuals who are making incredible change around the US, around the world, and make sure that we're lifting up their voices because they are our future leaders. Thank you so much, everyone. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Sister Romana. We have a couple of more government and interfaith guests who were not able to make it to the opening session, but will be here. Rabbi David Saperstein, who's the Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom. He is basically the top religious ambassador on behalf of the United States. He will be attending the convention and speaking at some sessions, but he's not here now. Also, Eric Treen, who is an attorney with the Department of Justice. He is special counsel for religious discrimination in the Civil Rights Division, and he has been instrumental in helping many mosques, over 30 mosques actually, the construction of which began, but then was halted because of local protests, and the DOJ had to step in legally to allow the mosque to resume construction, and Eric Treen was at the forefront of that, and so we're very thankful to him for that. So, yes. So we will turn our attention now to some of our constituent organizations. I'd like to introduce Sister Nasreen Gusbi, who is the MSA National Student Director. As many of you know, MSA is the Muslim Student Association. The MSA is the predecessor to ISNA. The MSA is something that many of us hold near and dear. There are thousands of chapters across the US. Sister Nasreen was the president of MSA at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and I was informed that Texas A&M Corpus Christi is different than Texas A&M the Longhorns. So I just wanted to point that out. She was the chair of the Texas MSA for the entire state, and she was also on the board of a local masjid. It's wonderful to see young brothers and sisters getting involved at such a young age. It is my pleasure to announce MSA National Student Director, Sister Nasreen Gusbi.
Thank you very much for such a kind introduction. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, it's an honor to address all of you tonight. I hope that you're all as excited as I am to be here, and inshallah even more so. We have a great weekend ahead of us, inshallah. So as mentioned, I'm the student director for MSA National. How many of you guys are familiar with the MSA, the Muslim Student Association? Okay. How about MSA National? Okay, not so many hands. So I'll tell you a little bit about MSA National. So MSA National is a nonprofit organization that strives to serve Muslim students during their college and university careers by facilitating their efforts to establish, maintain, and grow their local and regional MSA chapters through networking, educating, and empowering them for a strong and resilient community, inshallah. So to achieve our objectives, MSA National organizes many events and programs annually. We develop tools such as how to establish and grow your MSA, inshallah. We hold a few regional conferences. This past year, we had one in Washington, D.C., one in Boston, and one in Detroit as well. We held our first annual National Leadership Retreat, and we had students from over 30 universities attend and be trained on how to be the best MSA officer for their chapter and for the regions as well, inshallah. So these are just a few of the things we've done. Inshallah, we'll be speaking more about what we've done during the main session on Sunday night, so please join us then. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So as he said, I'm from Corpus Christi, Texas. Anybody know Corpus Christi, Texas? A few people, okay. Most likely you know of it because of the beach there. It's a very small city. So growing up, I was one of 3 Muslims in my high school. The Muslim community itself is very small. So for us, the conventions was something we always looked forward to and we're always very excited about. It was a time where we could actually come together and feel like we really were a part of this large community. We were excited, we learned, we were inspired. So alhamdulillah, conventions like these are one of the reasons why I stuck to Islam. Growing up, especially in a non-Muslim community, it can be very difficult. So I hope that you too will enjoy your time here, inshallah. Always look forward to next year and coming back every year, inshallah. So this year's MSA program, it is different than the ISNA program, so we have parallel sessions happening in the Hyatt. So our theme is When Light Descends, Guidance for a Challenging Time. So a lot of effort went into designing and perfecting this program, and we hope that, inshallah, you will come and join us. You have to take a little walk over to the Hyatt, as I said, and you'll come there and listen to our lectures and discussions, inshallah. So on behalf of MSA National, again, I would like to welcome you, and we hope that you have an amazing and wonderful weekend, inshallah. So thank you so much. Enjoy your time, and we look forward to having you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Sister Nasreen. As I mentioned, it's wonderful to see youngsters engaged. And the younger, the better, right? So younger than MSA is MINA, the Muslim Youth of North America, which is an ISNA program. I'm very proud of MINA because I believe that it is one of ISNA's best programs. Many of you know MINA because of the camps. Our youth camps are run and operated by MINA. And what's amazing about MINA, it is that it's run by the youth for the youth. We have one full-time staff dedicated to MINA, but we have a few dozen volunteers who work around the year, and these are all high school age students. So, mashallah, it's very impressive. We have the new MINA president who will be speaking here today, Brother Sayyid Siddiqui. If you could come forward, please. Brother Sayyid? Okay, Brother Sayyid is not here today. I guess he is old enough and mature enough to be part of MINA, but still young enough to be late to an event at which he's supposed to speak. Khair, inshallah. He's a good brother. I've met him on many occasions. Very dedicated, mashallah, but we'll give him a pass. We'll give him a pass this time. Next is Brother Safa Zarzour, who is the chair of CISNA, the Council of Islamic Schools of North America. We're very fortunate that we have many Islamic schools throughout the U.S., and CISNA was formed as an organization to assist Muslim schools in accreditation. They do accreditation, but also with development as for their teachers as well as administrators. Brother Safa is also the vice chair of the CIOGC, our hosts. He's also a member of the ISNA Majlis, and he is my predecessor. He was the prior Secretary General. He's the CEO of Iqra International. He has spent 10 years as a teacher, counselor, and principal at University School. He's a founding chairman of CARE Chicago, and he's also a partner at the law firm of Zarzour, Khalil, and Tabara. So without any further ado, Brother Safa Zarzour. Brother Safa. Is Brother Safa here today? No? Okay. Well, Safa's a little older. He's a full-grown man. So I'm not quite sure what excuse I can make up for him, but I will say that he's involved in many organizations, as you can see, and he's a man who dedicates so much of himself to the community, so he's probably off serving the community somewhere. So khair, inshallah. So with that, I will begin to wrap up the opening session. I just have a few more things that I would like to do. I want to first thank the staff for their tireless effort and their dedication. We begin planning this convention almost as soon as last year's convention ends. Yes, please, thank you. I want to thank the hundreds of volunteers that we have. If you've ever been a part of organizing an event like this, you know how much effort it takes. Hundreds of staff. Yes, Imam. Okay. The Office of Interfaith Cooperation? Okay, so this is a delegation. Okay, I will introduce them in just a second, please. We're a little impromptu here at ISNA. We like to plan ahead, but the convention's not the same without a little impromptu. So the staff, the hundreds of volunteers that it takes to organize something like this. Hundreds of volunteers, thousands of hours, and they do it selflessly. They spend their evenings and their weekends, and we're so thankful to them. I also want to thank the prior generations that have made this convention possible. And I don't just mean 1 or 2 generations ago. I mean people that have been here since the very beginning. A third of the slaves that were brought over from Africa were Muslim. Islam began in the US from the very, very beginning, and they actually laid the foundation for us hundreds of years ago. So I'd like to thank our African American brothers and sisters that have kept Islam going. I want to thank the later communities, the immigrant communities that have come from all over the world. You hear about stories from the MSA. I just want to tell you a brief story, just to give you an idea of the kind of sacrifice that people have made. A brother, there's some MSA or ISNA literature, and they want to send it to a masjid nearby and go and speak to them. So what does the brother do? That's his weekend vacation. So he packs his car with his wife and his kids. He'll boil a couple of dozen eggs, put them in a cooler, grab some bread because he doesn't have enough money to eat out on the way there. And so he'll drive 5 or 6 hours to a masjid, deliver this literature, speak to them about the MSA, and then the next day they will drive back. And again, this is with the wife and kids. This is the kind of dedication that earlier generations had. And these stories, there's hundreds of them. Hundreds of them. This is just one of these stories. If you get the chance to talk to somebody who was involved with ISNA or MSA early on, somebody who was involved in laying the foundation for Islam in America, talk to them and hear about the problems that they experience and what they've gone through. I want to acknowledge the suffering of our brothers and sisters overseas. We have to recognize that we live in a blessed land. Thank you very much. All right, we have a speaker. Thank you for the message. It makes it a lot easier rather than trying to yell back and forth to Imam Majid. Our brothers and sisters are suffering overseas, and we're very fortunate for all the blessings that we have here. Our brothers and sisters in Syria, in Palestine, in Burma, where there's genocide going on, all over the world. We made an opening dua for them after Jum'ah prayer. I ask that all of you keep them in your prayers. And I want you to know that barakah, blessings, sometimes come directly from Allah. If you were born with your health, you were born into a good family, you were born into a free country, that is directly from Allah. But sometimes blessings come indirectly from Allah through us. We are conduits for Allah's barakah. So there are brothers and sisters overseas who need our help, and you just might be their source of barakah. So I ask that you volunteer your time and your resources to help them. And I want to acknowledge also that you have. I want to acknowledge Muslims in America for all the good that they have done. There are Muslims in America who establish organizations to help people overseas. That is not a common thing. We take it for granted here in America. American Muslims establishing organizations and giving millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to help Muslims overseas as well as people of other faiths overseas. You deserve a pat on the back for what you have done. And I just want to thank you all. I want to acknowledge, we acknowledge the suffering that is going on, but we also acknowledge the tremendous contributions from American Muslims. And now let me see this note here. Arslan Sulaiman, U.S. Special Envoy to OIC. So Brother Arslan, if you could come up, please say a few words, introduce yourself and introduce your envoy, that would be great.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you all. Thank you, Brother Hazem, for changing the program up a little bit.
It's what we do here.
Yeah.
It's what we do.
Whether you're a young man or an older man, sometimes flights get delayed and things happen. So alhamdulillah, thank you for the flexibility. I appreciate the opportunity to say assalamu alaikum to everyone and to thank ISNA for having this important annual gathering, for all of the important work that ISNA does over the past several decades throughout the year. The impact that ISNA has had in America, not just for the American Muslim community, but for the religious landscape, for the interfaith community in America, is really extremely powerful. So I work at the United States State Department, and I'm currently the acting U.S. envoy to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the OIC. Some of you may or may not have heard of the OIC, but it's an international organization made up of 57 member states, mostly Muslim majority member states. And in my work, which I've been at the State Department for almost 5 years now, and I've had the honor to represent this country and this community abroad with the OIC and with its member countries, I can say without any hesitation at all that there is no other country in the world where you can be a Muslim like America. There's no other country in the world where you have the religious freedom to build institutions like ISNA, to build institutions like the MSA, like MINA, to have Islamic schools the way that we have Islamic schools in this country, to have an open environment where the Muslim community can work across lines with other faith communities, with other advocacy organizations to ensure that not only our religious freedom is protected and upheld, but also our voice is heard and is a part of the policy debate that is happening in many parts of the country. That environment, that is an example. The Muslim American community here is an example for how other countries really should affect change within their own countries. And that's one thing that has always been a part of our work when we travel abroad. We always talk about the amazing example of the American Muslim community, of ISNA, of leaders like Imam Majid, like Dr. Sayyid Saeed and others here who have done an unbelievable job of advancing the position of the American Muslim community and ensuring that the American Muslim community's voice is heard both at home and abroad. And so I wanted to say, just on behalf of the United States government and the State Department in our work, ISNA and other leaders who are going to be here throughout the weekend are so important to our work, not just promoting religious freedom abroad, but also in areas such as promoting the rights of religious minorities, on promoting peace and countering extremism, on promoting conflict resolution, on promoting solutions to the crises that we see in the world today, in the Muslim world today, like with the Rohingya in Burma, like in Syria and Iraq. And so, your voice is extremely important. And so the topic of this weekend's conference is strengthening the American Muslim narrative. And I just want to emphasize how important that is. Your narrative, the way that we define ourselves as a community, is vital. The future of the American Muslim community is what we make of it. It's in our hands. It's how we present that narrative other people can't define it for us. You know, we're about to enter 2016. It's going to be a very charged political environment and atmosphere. And there'll be a lot of people talking about the Muslim community or immigrants or migrants or what have you. And it's going to be vital for the American Muslim community to be confident in itself, to stand up and speak and expound that narrative, and to do so shoulder to shoulder with its other interfaith partners, as it has been doing for the past several years. So do that. Speak up. Continue to speak up on the policy issues you care about, on health care, on gun violence, on immigration, on supporting the president when he works to negotiate peaceful solutions to conflicts and not go to war like we've done in the past. So thank you again for the opportunity. I look forward to meeting you all throughout the weekend on different panels and throughout the events. And thank you again for the opportunity. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our opening session. I want to thank all of you once again for attending. Please keep in your dua those who are suffering, and enjoy the rest of the convention. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ambassador, thank you so much for coming. Let me give you my card again if there's going to be assistance.